What's up, everybody? Welcome back to The Elevator Life.
Guys, welcome back to the show that is trying to make a little sense about a messy market here in China, right?
Very, very messy market here. Today's episode was kind of inspired, as they normally are, from an event that happened to us last night at one of the dinners we were hosting with some of our clients at another one of our clients' venues.
Yeah, it's really been interesting. The farther we get into the Chinese market, the farther we get along. You get put in a situation where you can have really interesting conversations that shed a lot of light for you about the Chinese market.
Yeah.
In this instance, we were sitting down with some older Chinese businessmen, and really they asked us the question, what's your guys' business plan? What's your step? And then they were able to kind of that's what they called it. This is a brainstorming session for you guys in China. And they were able to throw a lot of ideas at us about what we're doing, what will work, what won't work, and how to really be the best here in China.
And the coolest thing about it, one was from the private sector, very successful man who deals in construction materials here in China, so obviously a lot of that going on. One was from the government, so he gave his point of view, a little more reserved. One was from the finance industry, talking about acquiring funds, what he thinks about investment, etc. And then one was an American-born Chinese or Chinese-born American, one of those two, and he now does business back and forth, so he understands the Western business mentality while also appreciating how to do business here in China.
And we came on a really, really interesting topic that we really started focusing on, and that was longevity. Here for us, obviously 3 years ago, right when we got to China, we never would have been in this situation. We never would have been sitting down with a group of people like this. We never would have been where we are in our business without that longevity. And when they were talking to us about where our business is headed, that's one of the main focuses is these next few years. Yeah, you guys are still working hard. And it's that idea of longevity that if you can keep this up, the sky is the limit, especially with a place like China, and that's really what we're focused on. So we wanted to bring that back to our viewers today and talk about that idea of persistence and longevity, because it really can relate to everybody's business, everybody's life, but it is really, really, really special and unique idea when you're trying to develop business in developing countries.
Yeah, we all know the very first step is get there, be in that market.
Take the first step.
We always preach about it. Land in your destination and say, all right, now that I'm here, then you figure it out. And it's not that 1 year, there is no time limit. You can't give yourself I need to have this by this amount of time or else I'm going home. Because you don't even know anything about how that market works, how long maybe it takes to get the right relationships, to find that right opportunity. Yeah. So it all really depends on that persistence of you being able to stick it out and say, okay, this is what I want to do, this is what I want to accomplish, and I have to be here to do that, and I know that, so, just time to put your nose to the grindstone and get working.
We spend a lot of time on this show talking about all of these awesome opportunities in developing country, okay, and that's what we spent a lot of time last night talking about, how big this industry is getting, all of our potential, but it always came back to right now is the time to push over that hump. If you guys can keep on this path, keep doing it, you're going to get there. And so I want to talk about a little bit, bring back all the opportunities we talk about on the show to really, really what it's worth. A lot of people might be like, really? So if I'm going to really successfully develop something in a developing market, I'm going to have to be there forever and ever? No. We really think it's a really unique and cool idea, because the longer you're able to live in a developing market, the really more unique and special you become and your situation becomes. Yeah. For us, this business model that we've settled on a lot when holding private events, selling wines at higher prices, all this kind of stuff, we always ask ourselves, why did it take us so long to really settle on that business model? But when you think about it, the only reason we were able to find that business model was because we had been here for a certain amount of time. When you're in a market, especially like China, any developing country that is changing so much, it's hazy, it's really hard to make sense out of it. The longer you're here, the clearer it becomes. Yeah. Okay, the more opportunities you see clearly. So I think it's a fantastic idea. So you're saying if I stay here for a few years, I'm gonna be in that better of a situation for myself and my business. And I think that's really what we're seeing here.
Yeah, it all comes down to when we first got here. I mean, you can look at, it's still a terribly messy market, but our ability to be able to recognize what's messy, recognize the good opportunities from the bad ones, the ones that actually may, you know, gain some traction versus the ones that are just talk. I mean, we've been able to really, I guess, become much more familiar with the market and make our own like ability, or if you will, to be able to just step forward and really take advantage of what we need to do. When a lot of people who get there the first time are just, I mean, even when we were here, when we first started, we were trying to do a whole bunch of different things all over the place, trying to really figure it out. And that's because the market was so messy and still is so messy, but we had a very messy understanding of it as well. So now that it's cleared up a lot, you know, the water's less murky, and we're able to really just focus and hone our energy on what needs to be done.
Yeah. I mean, you kind of want to relate this just to a business. We always talk about in businesses, you know, you have that hump. In the beginning of a business, it can feel like you're working so hard, but the speed you're gaining can be minimal.
Yeah.
And really, persistence can be one of the hardest things when you're in that point, because it's really hard sometimes to see over the hump. Okay? That's especially true for people here in China, because that's why it was good to have a perspective from Chinese people last night, because they were able to see that hump clearly. Like, they're accustomed to this culture, they've seen this path of business, they're like, yes, you're going like this. Well, a lot of times when you're an entrepreneur in a developing country, it can get clouded. Okay, you're confusing the hump in your business with a hump in being comfortable in the country. Okay, when really we want you to be able to see it the other way. See it as, okay, if I'm able to get over the hump in living in another developing world, if I'm able to get comfortable there, then not only am I going to get over the hump there, and I'm going to see so many opportunities, but it's going to allow my business to do better too.
Yeah, and it was just the most interesting point that they made last night too, was they readily acknowledged, you guys are here, you know, you guys are ready. The market is right here, right now. But we've seen it grow. You've seen it grow. So just keep pushing, and as you go, you know, and you know, you guys are doing something great, doing something special and unique. As the market gets ready, you guys are going to be right. You're going to be the leaders of doing what you need to do in this market for your wines when it happens. And that was like, wow, you know, it's justifying to see. All right, you know, we're on the right path. Not only we see it, but everybody else is seeing it. So we just got to keep pushing forward.
I think that's something cool to point out as well. The fact of how differentiated or how unique of a situation you are if you're developing a business in a foreign country, in a developing country. Digging deeper into that, I think if we spent 3 years over here, okay, in a messy market, 3 years deep into the business culture, working on it, okay, you develop a unique situation for yourself. You have a unique viewpoint. You have a unique network of people. You've got a unique set of experiences that really set you apart and allow you to be seen as an expert, I guess, if you want to say. Or, you know, you're that much farther ahead than so many other people that are looking at doing business in a market, because there are those barriers to entry for developing markets. And I think that's an exciting thing, because if you compare something like persistence in a business back in the States, if you'd been working in some market for 3 years, you'd be ahead of the general population, but there'd be so much more competition for you, and you wouldn't stand out. You wouldn't be so unique, because there's bound to be a lot of other people in your situation. Well, of course, there's a lot of other people in wine. Okay, but there's tons of them, but there aren't necessarily a lot of people in our situation in wine. There are not a lot of people that are young, that have had this experience of moving over here after university. There aren't a lot of young entrepreneurs like us with our viewpoints of the market. A lot of people will come in from different generations, older generations, and so they see the market differently. They have different viewpoints. And so we're really have put ourselves in an interesting situation, in a unique situation. And I think there's something to be said for anyone that is interested in doing business in the developing market. Because I really think it gives you that opportunity to be set apart, to be in a unique situation for yourself and for your business.
You're the unique outlier, if you will, that's really sticks out like a sore thumb. We talk about it all the time. And not only just being a foreigner, I mean, that's how it started, was, hey, you know, here's this foreign person, yeah, you stick out. But then when you get into the right circles and you start sticking out in business circles or chambers of commerce events, and you're there and it's like, who's this young individual doing XYZ? And it's like, you know, that's when it really starts to build up momentum. And yeah, longevity, it's messy. So then obviously things like, I know there's always that drawing of getting to your goal. Everybody thinks it's just direct, but it's all left, right, maybe turn back, take a few steps back, and eventually you get there. Even worse in a messy market, but that's why that persistence is necessary, and the length and longevity has to be longer, but as long as you're making your progress to it, you should always stick to it.
Yeah, really, that idea comes back to having persistence.
Yeah.
We can all relate to the idea of persistence. We've been there. It's one of the hardest things to accomplish, especially when you're not feeling on top of your game.
Yeah.
It can be extremely hard when you're living in a developing country. But our message today is, if you feel you are in that situation where you do have that quality of persistence, you're not going to quit when things get down.
Yeah.
You can see the hump, and nothing is going to stop you from getting over that. If that's you, if you do have that ability, then you are set up and primed to do well in developing countries. I suggest as many of you guys that feel that you do have those talents to get over here, because it's a really unique situation. We were in an exciting time, and get over here. I mean, our idea, longevity, it's so cool. It's changing so much. It's like light speed sometimes over here.
Yeah.
And the idea, wait, I'm going to stick it out a little bit longer, and then I'm going to be that much farther ahead of where I am at now. Of course I'm not quitting.
Yeah. If you are one of those individuals, very happy to hear successes in your future. And if you think you might be, or you feel you're on your way to it, please let us know.
Reach out to us.
Questions. Yeah, it's, little ideas we have, little tricks and tips to, as you said, I mean, even today, not one of our best days, monsoon season outside, a delivery went to the wrong place. All these little these little things that would normally get to people, we know, okay, end goal's here, just persistent, works itself out, and we just keep moving forward.
Definitely, guys. Okay, I got an interesting idea. So here's a little idea of what we're talking about, persistence and getting over humps and stuff like that. Yesterday we received cases from factory. They were completely wrong. Not even close to right. And we've been working on these for months. Okay?
Nice factory, thank you.
Oh, one of our biggest accounts receivable that was sent to another province in China.
Yeah.
And we were told they don't know when they can get it back because they don't know even how they sent it to a wrong company. Okay, and we've been waiting for that payment for almost 6 months.
Nice work, unnamed 5-star hotel.
So just these ideas, guys, of things that can be super frustrating. Just persist. And even if you're not moving to a third world country, persist. It's really, really, really what makes you and brings you to the next level.
Builds your character, and exactly. It'll get you to that finish line. Make sure you don't quit before it.
All right, guys, thanks for listening to our brainstorming session today. Gotta see what's going on inside our lives a little bit.
Yeah.
Until next time, guys. Cheers.
Cheers, everyone.